everybody.
Hello, welcome to the first Critical Hit podcast. Yeah, John's really hyped with his app thing.
Whoa, it's hip hop air horn.
Is that the actual name of it?
It's called that. It's probably
Nice.
one of the best apps that you can get on your Google Play Store or Apple
Thanks for
application
that
store, whatever
advertisement.
you call that. This podcast sponsored by neither.
Right. So, Critical Hit podcast.
Yeah, it's new and it's exciting.
Right. I guess we should start with why this is a thing.
Yeah.
Why is this a thing, John?
Why is it a thing? Well, it's because it's not the podcast that you want, but it's the podcast of appeasement.
It is the podcast of appeasement.
No, we just noticed that, people wanted to hear more things from us, and Critical Hit usually takes so long to make.
Yeah, exactly.
This whole thing, because we like nice things.
We do like nice things, and I think that's an important part of why we decided to do this podcast, because a Critical Hit video, a review of a movie, typically takes...
A review of a movie story structure, Adam.
Right.
Right.
The analysis of its structure.
There we go.
Yeah, that takes a long time.
Yeah.
It takes a really long time. I would say on a typical basis, probably takes about 2 weeks to write, because there's a lot of back and forth. There's me saying, let's talk about this, and then you saying... let's talk about that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, whoa, no, I said this. And then we fight for about 3 weeks, minus 2 weeks. We fight for a week. And then eventually a critical hit comes out of it. Austin's also in that fight too. It's just like this three-way brawl.
Or whoever else happens to be watching the movie with us and giving us their insight.
Right, Jeb.
Jeb could be a thing.
Yeah.
It could turn into a four-way brawl.
Yeah.
So...
And then we get on teams.
Right. And Jeb always picks Adam's team. Anyway.
True. I like that about him.
But yeah, so we decided that this would be a good idea. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a little bit more behind the scenes and a lot less high production value.
Yeah, and that's the whole idea is when we do critical hits, we're filmmakers. We like making things look good and like learning about all the aspects of film.
Sure.
So if I'm shooting John, I'm going to try to be clever and creative and learn something about lighting and composition, and we just enjoy doing that, and we're not going to stop doing that because we do like
apply
things looking good.
something that we've already learned or we're currently learning. It's the whole thing. The appeal of Critical Hit is to learn and to learn together.
Exactly.
Bros.
So with a podcast, we're like, okay, well, we can make more content more quickly. We already had the things to make a podcast.
Sure.
So there was no research that went into us. We just set up the mics, and now we hit record, and this is it.
This is the thing. It's not just a thing. It's the third time we've done this thing, maybe even the fourth time.
That's true. We do like things to be good. Hopefully every podcast doesn't take this much effort.
It's not the fourth time we've done a podcast. It's the fourth time we've done this podcast. It's the first time we've ever done a podcast.
The fourth time the first podcast has been recorded.
Yeah. We listened to it, and it was just okay. But,
it wasn't good enough, Gary.
Not good enough.
It was sufficient, Gary.
It was, right. And sufficient is not good enough.
Right. So,
moving on.
Yeah, so, this will be a thing. We're hoping to do it on a weekly basis.
If not, maybe a bi-weekly basis.
As much as we can basis. Yeah, and it will include us talking about movies and stories and animation.
And life.
And we'll be talking... hopefully with some people,
and
bringing Austin involved.
Girlfriend?
I don't know about that. And we'll also, thank you, John, for that.
Always looking out for you, bud.
And even a possibility we've talked about is having maybe some of our audience, you people listening to this, be guests on this, because the whole idea of Critical Hit is you guys.
Right. It's all of us.
It's all of us because
team Critical Hit, team story analysis.
What you were saying in our last first podcast was the idea of Critical Hit. We're trying to get better at stories, and with the four of us, that's great. By myself,
it's less great.
Right, it's less great. I can learn everything that my brain can learn based on my experience. But once we add you in, now that's two experiences to chisel each other's experience.
Right. It's like as iron sharpens iron and all that jazz.
And all that
But also, what I said last time was, experience farming, and I stick by that because
Right.
I feel like that
Using
is a good
others'
way to put
experience.
it. Right, just like cultivating experiences and using those experiences to inform how we view stories as a whole, and maybe that will help us to make better stories so we can relate to more people.
Absolutely.
Boom.
Making
Nailed
other
it.
stories.
Dropping gems.
Going to gym class.
Going to gym class. Bring your shorts. Anyway,
So, okay, so we like making stuff.
and including other people. You were talking about that?
Yeah.
You even sent some stuff out on the tumbles so that we could include some people,
Oh,
asking them what they
You
wanted.
just want to do the questions right now.
I am going
Let's
to at
jump
least
in.
start a little bit into them. Because I think this person's Tumblr name looks
Okay.
pretty exciting. When Adam asked what we wanted to discuss, you guys wanted us to discuss on the podcast,
Yeah.
this Axe Crazy replied, if you went to
Do you
college,
think she
where did you
acts
go?
crazy? Like ACT? Or maybe she really enjoys the acts of films?
Like, or maybe she is crazy about axes.
right.
Like,
sharp weapons.
yeah, or, well, I usually would just think lumberjack.
Oh, true. It doesn't have to be a weapon.
No, it could just be a very utilitarian
Entangled.
object.
There are 7 acts.
Yeah, you guys didn't know that. We watched that the other day. And we are not actually talking about the story structure in this sense. We are talking about the number of axes that show up in the film. There could be more.
There could be more. Might have missed.
But
them.
I think we pretty much got it.
It was
at
a
7.
joke that went way too long for the entirety of the film.
Right. But I'm
Okay,
glad we started.
But
when
the
we did.
question is, if you went... Nope, wrong one. No, that is
No,
it.
that's right.
If you went to college, what did you guys major in?
Yeah.
And do you want to start? Or should
I
go?
can. Your story is actually kind of interesting.
Okay, because I went... Well, we both went to multiple colli.
Colli?
Plural of college. Is that not a thing?
I would maybe from the Italian,
From the Greco-Roman.
from the or from the Latin
Latin.
Universitas. I would almost guess that it would be Universitai. Would be plural for
University.
yeah. Although we
Univers-
did just go to some standard community college for a little bit there, and I don't think that
Loved
counts
it. No,
as,
it counts.
as universitas. As a university, I think it just counts as
True.
college.
Colli.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Cauliflower.
You're just
So-
forgetting all of the edge.
So, okay. Well, all right. So after high school, everybody's like, figure out what you want to do in life, right?
Right.
Right. What a really daunting question.
Lofty task.
Right. Because that's, in the whole span of your life, you got, 19 years and then 80 after it, if we're going to say 100.
Which they say we will.
Okay. And so you're essentially making one quick decision to affect the next 80 years of your life.
Or so they make it seem. Because we are a people who are resilient and could change exactly what we want to do.
And I
at any
appreciate
point in
that
time.
worldview.
Yes.
But
you chose.
I chose audio engineering because our main focus in high school, I think both of us, this speaks for both of us, was music. And
Music, for me, it was like all things performance art. Like I was into
That's true.
acting
You
a lot
did
as
acting
well.
a lot. Yeah, no. I was 100% music. I was in marching band. I wanted to be in bands. I was a drummer.
Adam was so
formed
passionate about marching
multiple
band that
bands.
he ended up losing a girlfriend over it.
Well, that was like freshman year.
Right, but
You're really focused
you
on
stuck
this
it in
girlfriend
there.
thing.
But I appreciated what you were willing to sacrifice for the love of
For the love of the game.
For the love of the game.
I was.
Yeah.
But no, I actually wasn't that passionate about it because I quit marching band for senior year, joining you in choir for the sake of the bro.
For the sake of it was a good time.
It was such a good time.
That was actually
Anyways,
some
okay.
seriously good
So
times.
I chose audio engineering because I had recorded my own album senior year for the sake of it and really enjoyed it. A lot of fun. Learned a lot about that. Read Home Recording for Dummies. Great book. Good read. And so I went off to that and only went to Greenville College in Greenville, Illinois. Very small college.
As a matter of fact, Adam and I both looked at going to that school. I did not choose to go
you
there. but
didn't
he
even
did.
enjoy it.
I did enjoy it.
Oh, I thought you
No, we had a
had
good
very
time. We were
negative.
bros with that guy. We just like went and stayed in his dorm to like experience what Greenville. Yeah, that. Remember when we did that? That was good times. Anyway, you were there.
That guy was interesting.
It's true.
Okay, so I went there for a whole semester. I discovered that audio engineering is not something you should ever pay for. Absolutely not pay for at the cost of what I was paying for that. So after a whole enlightened semester, I left Greenville College and came back to St. Charles Community College. And what a beautiful school. Love that school. I could go there for free because of the A-plus program that my mother forced me to partake in at our high school. And it was a great time because, so in Greenville, I had a lot of time to spend just, you're at school, homework, might as well do it. You're already there. And so you're already ahead of the game. You still hang out with friends, but you're just there 100% of the time. So if you're just sitting there, you can either watch movies, TV shows, or you can try to make something. And I was always kind of itching to make stuff. So I started learning about animation because I've always liked cartoons. Love Fairly Odd Parents, Butch Hartman, beautiful man, never met him. And so I started learning about that, started getting into the internet. That was when I really started finding YouTube stuff. And so, started getting into animation, went to St. Charles Community College, and did not partake in actual education there like I did. I went to class, but I definitely did the bare minimum there,
And probably got straight A's.
Pretty close.
Yeah. The expectations were not high.
No, but I could go there for free, so it was just like 2 years of just like, all right, what do I actually want to do?
Right.
No financial burden, no like stress. And so that was the time where I really started messing around with animation. And a small point is I didn't grow up like drawing or anything, so art wasn't even like on the radar. Music was the most like openly artistic thing I ever
art
identified
in the
with.
sense that like drawing and things
like
like
draftsmanship.
That. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in this time at my 2 years at community college, I spammed so many tutorials, drawing, CG, computers. No, not computers. I already love computers. CG, filmmaking, because we were already making films by that time. Which, if you want to catch up on that, look at the CriticalHit video about our credentials or whatever. That talks about sort of the films and the conclusions we made that led us to learn about story. And so after that, I made the life-changing decision to go to Animation Mentor, where I studied character animation.
Right.
So it's a long story.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to see if I can make mine a little bit more abbreviated.
Okay.
Here we go.
Go for it.
So I came out of high school being really interested in performing arts, but I also really just kind of wanted to make the world a better place. And so I decided that I would go into social work immediately from high school.
Cool.
That immediately changed because I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm a little too empathetic for that. So basically what it came down to was just I was going to come home heavy laden with the burdens of the world every day. And I was like, there's probably another way I can do this without being sad. And so that was when I was like, Adam and I and our friends had already started making films. And I was like, that's a really fun thing to do. So I switched my major to business and film and digital media, transferred from the community college where Adam and I both went for a little while to Baylor University in Texas. I spent some time there and I met some really good friends, but I had a really good professor there who basically said one thing that made me stay in the film world. And it was like, if you are a filmmaker or if you are in the media field, you are a brain surgeon without the scalpel. You get to influence the way people think about things. And I saw a lot of issues with the world and certain ideologies and things like that. And so I was like, I can make the world a better place through film and by telling stories and by relating to people. And that seemed like the best way to do it. And so from that point on, I ditched the business because who needs it? Some people might need it. If that's your thing, I'm glad that you exist because we're going to need accountants and stuff. But I ended up transferring back to a school back here in the St. Louis area where we're from. And from that point on, I was pretty dedicated to filmmaking, and I ended up graduating here not that long ago with a degree in video production.
Way to go.
Just so I could get done. A lot of that stuff is the same. In the program that I was in, film and video are two separate programs at the school that I went to, but they essentially teach you the same thing. And by that point in time, I had already taken a lot of film classes, so I had taken a script writing class, and I had taken a film fundamentals class where we learned about 3-act structure and all things like that. And I'm now we're here, and I've made a documentary. Adam and I have worked on a lot of films together with our friends, and eventually we are going to make a feature.
That's the dream.
That it's going to be a thing.
True. It's not an actual dream. It's very much a practical kind of just thing that will happen. But
And let's talk about
it takes
dreams.
a lot about.
though.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of time before we get there. But okay, you want to talk about dreams?
I want to talk about dreams because we just watched Tangled, and I've got a dream.
I've got a dream.
You've got a dream.
Just want to see those floating lanterns clean.
No.
Oh, that's not my dream.
It's probably not as lofty as it seems. We are going to eventually make a film, but in the process, critical hit is a thing, and that's kind of comes back to like our whole view on learning. It's just like everything can kind of help you, inform you to become a more holistic filmmaker. We want to be able to write good stories. We want to be able to produce things that have high production value, and critical hit kind of lets us do all of that.
Let's just practice it with sort of a purpose in mind, like just continually growing, which we think is important because we know a lot of peers of ours in the film world who oftentimes talk about, they focus on like the equipment, you know, they're like, oh, I'll be able to make a good film when I get XYZ. And it's just, we're just like, no, we have cool stuff as is, you know, we kind of continually acquire stuff. You got a sweet shoulder mount just yesterday.
Yeah,
paid
dude.
$1 million for it. Even that horn,
It was
I
at
don't know
least
about
$200 cheaper than it should have been, which I was really happy about. It's like my new favorite toy. I've been like carrying it around the dojo.
Yes, it's very cool, and it's definitely be useful. So, I lost my train of thought.
Dang.
Dreams. Oh, but yeah, so we're very much anything we can make at any time. You know, we know we're going to learn from it. The whole fail fast, fail often sort of
Fail
worldview,
hard.
which I first learned actually from a critical hit fellow, Scott. I met him at CTN. He was a very cool
What is
guy.
that? What is CTN?
The Creative Talent Network. It's a convention for the animation industry.
Yeah, are you going to go back to that?
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
going to be awesome.
Had a good time.
I met some of you guys there. 3 in total. It
Right.
was wonderful.
Nailed it.
I've never been recognized off the streets before.
And didn't you see Glenn Keane in real life?
I did see
at that
Glenn
time?
Keane in real life. I saw many people.
Why is Glenn Keane cool for you in particular? Why is Glenn Keane really cool for all of us?
Well, because Tangled is essentially his baby film.
Yeah.
Even though he's not a director, but he was. It changed all. But
Sure.
yeah, Glenn Keane, he has a really cool kind of worldview on things because this is the same kind of learning thing. Like he's just, even though he's sort of revered as this master animator, he has this very much like, I'm still learning. Like I'm never going to get there. I'm never going to arrive. I'm just continually pushing myself and doing new stuff.
And Glenn Keane is like responsible for a lot of the characters that we really love in film. He worked on Beast, right? Did you do some of Tarzan? Is he involved in that?
Yes, yeah, he was a character.
And he's got this really cool
He's the lead
thing on
on
YouTube
Tarzan.
that you guys should check out that he did. It was made for a platform that enables you to kind of like, it's like a augmented reality kind of thing, right?
Kind of thing, yeah. It's kind of like an Oculus Rift. It's the type of thing for your phones. If you have an updated iPhone or some Androids, if you look up Google Spotlight Stories, you can. There's a couple, but Duet in particular is one Glenn Keane.
The name
it's very beautiful.
of that story is Duet, and it is
Very beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Love it.
Bring the Kleenex because you might cry a little bit.
So should we get on to the next question?
Get on with it.
All right. So Alex Ingo97
Yeah.
asks, and this is a question I think you should answer more because
right.
of your experience in the realm of theater.
Hit me.
Do you guys like musicals? Do you feel like they are an effective way to tell a story? It's hard to say no to that.
It is hard to say no. I think musicals, for me, hold a special place in my heart. I grew up in theater, so I really do enjoy musicals for the most part. And like we said, Adam and I had a phase of our life where we were both really into music, so choral singing. We kind of formed a band a little bit in high school, and so music
Very
is
good band.
It wasn't, but it was fun, bros.
It was fun. We learned stuff.
But we really do enjoy music. We definitely think it's an effective device to like tell stories and to evoke certain emotions.
Right.
And so like I really do like that. I think it's like anything else, like musicals by and large, like I don't love every musical that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
However, I do think that musicals can be effective. And in case you're wondering, Adam kills with his mother Gothel. So
I really identified with that character.
right, and I could tell by
Mother
when we were
Gothel
watching it.
is my favorite villain. I hate her so much.
Yeah, and that's good.
I
It's
guess.
good that you hate her.
It is good.
Do your whole thing.
I'm not.
Do your thing.
Maybe sometime.
Rapunzel! Rapunzel knows best.
That's still John.
And if he's such a dreamboat.
You gotta twirl the tongue on the dreamboat.
Okay, all right.
Dreamboat. Anyways, but I enjoy musicals actually a lot because I really like how you can storytell through the songs. Mm-hmm. And that was one thing in Strange Magic. It was technically a musical, I guess.
Right.
But they didn't do any storytelling through the songs.
Right.
And
like we said in that review, it was kind of like they would just kind of like throw a song in where they thought it belonged, and it didn't help us like deepen the character or anything like that.
It was so frustrating. And one thing I really, really, really love about musicals and songs and musicals is when they do character emotionally driven, like, I guess, timbre of their voice in songs, like if they whisper or just like you can tell like what they're saying is really emotionally just like
or if the song itself like helps carry the film forward or the story forward.
Yeah.
Like through that it's like a moment in itself. Like we're just like, oh, this person is so emotional right now that they have to sing this. They can't even just use their own speaking voice.
I really do like musicals a lot.
Yeah. So musicals, yes.
Definitely
the answer to your question
them.
is yes.
John has been in a few.
I have.
I enjoyed every single one of them.
Thank you.
I was a fan. I was in the audience. I never got you flowers. Maybe I should.
I had plenty of flowers, and the idea of flowers actually kind of upsets me because it's like, I like you. Let me kill this thing and bring it to you. Like, no other thing is that acceptable for. Like, I'm a huge fan of you, so I killed this mountain lion and brought it to you.
It's kind of different.
Kind of. Whoa. Are you going to define life right now?
No.
Because some people find flowers very beautiful.
That's why they give them to you.
Yeah, but the whole
Although
idea
I guess
that they're going to die.
lions are also beautiful.
Lions are majestic.
Yeah. Anyways, new topic. Done with that one. Got bored of it. This question by, how are you going to say that? Utro Pisteketnek? Net? I don't know how to pronounce that.
I'm not entirely sure.
Utro Pisteketnek.
Yeah, you know who you are. You know who you are.
A question that, yes, it's pretty easy to answer. Will you be making more reviews on more movies? Hopefully by now.
Don't tell them. Are we?
Yes.
We are?
Absolutely.
Are you sure?
Hopefully by now one has already came out.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah, are we working on another one right now?
Well, we have one actually done.
Sure, but are we working on another one?
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
Trying to keep it consistent.
Yeah.
And, the channel has been pretty quiet the last year or so. We kind of discussed it, like, hopefully you guys knew that we were going to be able, like, we weren't going to be able to do stuff as we were just based on life. John was still in school.
Mm-hmm. I was in school. I was working 2 jobs. There was time when I was in school, and then I quit one of those jobs, but then I took up an internship. And
I was doing multiple job stuff. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we talked about Snip, the short film I've been working on, which we are getting so close. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's been really cool watching that whole thing come to be. And in case you guys were wondering, in the last Critical Hit that we did, Jeb is another animator who's on Snip, and he's pretty cool. He watched Strange Magic with us and actually gave us his input
3 or 4 times.
Seriously,
yeah.
It was really helpful to have him around.
Don't watch Strange Magic 4 times ever.
Don't do that.
Well, actually do. You'll learn stuff.
Actually, don't. Just don't do it.
It's a hard one.
Just take it from us.
But he actually did. He helped out with that Stories is Important video. He did the animation for the girl at the beginning, and I did the animation for the guy.
Which I hope you guys I hope you liked that, because I thought it was really cool to kind of watch that whole thing to come together. I feel like it does a pretty good idea of describing why we're so passionate about stories.
I would agree with that. I think stories are
important.
They have to be.
It's true.
I don't know. Stories are really important to me, and I find them just ever important. Everything I learn about them, I think it has a lot to say about who we are as people and how we should interact and how we should be conscious when we interact.
Yeah, there's real life applications from stories that we can kind of learn a lesson
just
and
crazy.
Kind of bundle it all up and help it inform who we are as people.
And just how we choose to do life.
Mm-hmm.
We can...
Good stuff.
This just feels like a podcast in of itself that we can go into sometime.
We will.
Yeah.
Podcasts
I love stories.
Yeah.
They're very important.
And so, that is essentially I think we. How do you feel right now?
I'm feeling pretty good. I think this is a good length. We don't know how long we want these to be. We don't want to be too long.
And we also don't know if we're gonna say. So some days they might be long. Some days they might not be.
They're
long.
never gonna be 2 hours. Podcast I love, and if you like animation, you should look up Toon Talks podcast. It's a great podcast, but it's very long. Each one's about 2 hours. Just like that's a commitment. You're sitting down. You're like, I'm gonna listen through this.
Right.
All of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's. I mean,
and we also listen to. I don't know if any of you guys were into VeggieTales.
Yeah.
We also listen to the Phil Vischer podcast.
Right.
And I listened to. I just kind of got into a couple other ones. I've listened to Rooster Teeth a couple times.
My favorite podcast is the Bancroft Brothers podcast,
which Adam has shared.
I love
with me.
those two men,
that.
Tony and Tom Bancroft. Look them up on topbypro.com.
They do some pretty awesome podcasts. They have just so much personality. And if you guys have podcasts that you listen to, I just am at work a lot, looking for new things to listen to. So
me too.
You know, when I'm driving, I sometimes listen to NPR, and that's good. And there are certain segments of NPR that I really like. It's just fun to be informed, and it's sponsored by the public, so you don't get a lot of biased opinions. It's good stuff.
Okay.
But while I'm at work, I tend to listen to podcasts. So if you guys have one that you're particularly fond of, go ahead and let me know. Put it in the tumbles. Put it in a comment on YouTube.
Definitely.
Whatever.
Tweet at us. Our Twitter isn't as lucrative. I don't think that's the right word. It's just we don't interact with a lot of people on Twitter. And
and I'm trying to be better about Instagram. So if you guys don't know, we do have an Instagram account. It's CritHit Story.
Right.
On Instagram.
I wish I need to actually learn what all of our URLs are, because some are CritHit, some are CritHit Story, some are Critical Hit Story.
Yeah.
It was hard to kind of unify that.
Right, because people have...
Critical Hit turns out that it's a key word in our culture that you can't just like have. Weird how that happens.
It is.
But yeah, so definitely do that. We will continue to let you guys know with podcasts. We want to have questions as a big part of this because we want to interact with you guys. It's the whole purpose of Critical Hit.
And if you guys have some like kind of film or story or anything like that you just think is like extremely compelling and kind of want us to like take a look at, I'm always down for...
Definitely.
Because like, you know, you do the thing where you go on Netflix, you kind of like look around, you're like, what's good here?
What's good?
It's always good to know that somebody enjoyed something already. Because they've kind of screened it for you, so then you can be like, that actually was good, or I see what the value of this thing is.
See where their heart was.
Yeah, I see where they're going with that. So I would love that.
Yes, and also give us constant feedback on anything. Also, let me know how to interact on social media. That is something I'm really curious about. Like, what do you want out of us through social media?
What do you want from me?
Because I can interact with that, but I just don't know, I guess, the standards or the culture of
he's
Tumblr. I don't. Social media awkward.
Socially media literate.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out a way to. Yeah,
it's whatever.
But yeah, so let us know. We want constant feedback. We don't care if it's good or bad. We do know that you guys are some of the best commenters in the world.
Yeah.
It's incredible how many civil conversations are on all of our videos.
Right, like I've seen
not YouTube.
Other podcasts get kind of buck wild in the comment section,
which is inherent. That's
I mean, there's trolls, but these guys are real life cool.
Yeah,
I wish I could do like
you guys are the best.
A meeting IRL with all of them and just eat lunch.
Just one-on-one with each.
No, not one-on-one. Well, I wanted to do it one-on-one, but if they were all in the same room, it'd be harder to do it one-on-one but it would still be cool to just kind of like have everybody relating to each other.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So like a big story convention.
Convention, but I'd want it to be like at like a mead hall, like in Beowulf. You know, I just want it to be. I would want it to be cool.
What about the vegetarians in the audience?
Whoa, mead is gluten free.
Oh, I thought you said meat hall.
No, mead, honey, alcohol.
Yeah,
whatever.
Okay, but yeah, so we're gonna finish this up.
Yeah.
John with his hype horn.
I don't know if that's gonna be a thing consistently, but
yeah, I don't know about that.
It's fun.
But yeah, so thank you for joining us.
Woo woo! First podcast down, only the fourth try. Didn't even die once. We're so good at this.
And you know what? Tell good stories.
Whoa. That might not be a thing. That might not be our ending phrase. Just saying.